ברשות קהל הקדוש, everybody שבוע טוב, בעזרת השם יתברך. We continue with our book, נפשי תידום. It talks about נפשי תידום, led my soul to be silent. So where's this verse coming from? This verse coming from Elohai Netzor Neshama, which is at the end of the Shmona Esrei. We say to Hashem, please, anybody says about me anything, I'm going to sit quiet. That's what we say 3 times a day. To practice it is 2 different things. So this whole thing is elaborates and how much a person gets disrespected, which is Be'ezrat Hashem. We're going to continue with this book. I'm very, very mamlitz, which means recommended from shiur. Whoever did not listen should listen to shiur from beginning and end. Then he able to change his life about what's happening in the world. Not only that, Be'ezrat Hashem, we should say Barachat Tzlacha Briyut Yitzchak ben Leah v'gam Salmon ben Nadia, Igor ben Nadia, הקדוש ברוך הוא תן להם ברכה, הצלחה, קראו דניאל בן מיכאל, זיווג הגון בשנה הזה, וגם כל, whoever is sitting here, so Hashem should bless him with all the blessings of the Torah. Should we have a דסייעתא דשמיא, פרנסה, בריאות, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. זכות גדולה לעמדים איתם כנגד המעלגים. It's a big zchut when a person does a mitzvah. It's a big zchut if somebody is disrespecting or making fun of a person. תקף שהאדם מתעורר להתחזק בעבודת השם. When a person wants to go and serve Hashem, he wants to serve Hashem. But surrounding people, they're telling him not to do it so much. It's not for you. מגלגלים חובה בידי חייבים, ואז מזמונים שלוחים רעים לעולק ולבזות. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to send shluchim, which means messengers. They're going to disrespect a person. They're going to make words not proper towards the person when he does Torah mitzvot. Miyad batchalat Shulchan Aruch. It says in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, Siman Aleph, Siv Aleph. Moreh harama, lo yitbayesh mipnei bnei adam maligim alev le'avot Hashem yitbarach. Rama says following like this. People come into you, they start disrespecting you. Or they're saying not proper things when you're working for serving for Hashem. Says you don't listen to them, you listen what the Hashem says. But people thinking, I'm going to come Baal Tshuva, everything is going to be good, I'm going to have a parnasa, I'm going to have a great kids, I'm going to have a great wife, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my partner is going to listen to me. No, the opposite. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to respect you. Why is that? Because until now, if a person now tshuva, he was working for Satan, for Sitra Achra. Now he's working for Kedusha. The Satan makes it everything possible way for a person not to work for the Kedusha. ועוד אמרו רבי יהודה חסיד, שיהיה לו זכות גדולה וצדקה, תחשוב לו אשר מתבייש. ויראת השם טהרה נכנס לו בליבו, מטהרתו ליבו וגופו מכל דבר רע. Every time a person gets disrespected, like Rabbi Yehuda Chassid says, he says it's chut gdola for the person, and it's a tzedakah for the person. If somebody is like giving a tzedakah for the person, if a person gets disrespected by people, he says, you're going to work, and I'm going to work, v'yirat Hashem b'tahara, with the pureness. The heart becomes pure, the body becomes pure, from all the bad things. Shisiyu amin hashamayim la'achzik b'riyat Hashem. And Hashem is going to help him. Whoever is going to be, want to be pure and clean, Hashem going to help him. Amru b'Shabbat Kuf Dalet, Amud Aleph, Haviyu leta'er misayin oto. Somebody wants to become pure from Shamayim, they're going to give him a special disiyat d'shmai, he's going to become pure. Mina Shamayim mizamim lo la'asot tshuva shlema. From Shamayim, they tell him, you're going to do tshuva, complete tshuva. A person says, I'm going to do complete tshuva. If we are so complete tshuva, I'm doing Baal Tshuva. Many of us Baal Tshuva. Somebody talks about or tells us not good thing. Are we getting angry? Of course we're getting angry. That means it's still not tshuva. Prime example, we're in a Bet Knesset. In a Bet Knesset, somebody wants to be the air conditioner too cold. Somebody wants a little bit hot. What if it's not going to happen? What are you going to do? You start argument. this is considered not tshuva. Tshuva consider ve'idom nafshi. We have to sit quiet. We have to control our feelings. Until now, we did not control our feelings. Until now, we could say whatever we want to say. So tshuva, complete tshuva is considered when a person controls his feelings. That's considered tshuva shlema. Ki petche tshuva lo nistamu, mitzvat goreret mitzvah. He says, petche tshuva. If a person really wants to tshuva, the tshuva doors are open all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. המתבייש בדבר מצווה זכות זוכה לסייעתא דשמיא מיוחדת. Somebody is getting embarrassed and somebody getting disrespected, Hashem says he's going to have a shlema mitzvah. He's going to do the mitzvah completely. המתבזה בדבר מצווה מוסר נפשו על קידוש השם. Who wants to do קידוש השם? חכמים, חפץ חיים, בעל שם טוב, אור החיים הקדוש. All their life to pray for קידוש השם. Kiddush Hashem, which means sanctifying God's name publicly. Chilul Hashem, which means desecrating God's name publicly, it's very easy to do. But Kiddush Hashem, somebody is a dati, somebody is walking with the kippah, somebody dat al Hashem is walking and is making Kiddush Hashem, everybody wants to be like him. But he says Chilul Hashem, which is disrespecting the God's name, nobody wants to be like him. וזו לא מלבד, במקום אחר כתב רבי יהודה חסיד, כי עליך הרגנו כל היום. In the Tehillim it says, in the Tehillim 44:23, David HaMelech says, every day Hashem, I'm giving you my life for you to you. Every day. The Chazal says, עליך הרגנו כל היום, דוד המלך, אלו בני אדם מקבלים בושות. Every time a person gets disrespected by people, hello, we kids Hashem. Hello, we cannot have somebody disrespecting me. I'm a God's son. He says somebody getting disrespected, it's like somebody is killing that person. לבנת פנים על המצוות, כשאמר לאדם סכלות לקיים מצוות ציצית ותפילין כיוצא בהם, נשפך דמו כמים מפני בושה. Sometimes a person comes in and he says, please put a tzitzit, tefillin, and a person is disrespecting him. Verbally he disrespected him. Says he's been somebody blood shedded. So which just means the spilling this blood person. Ma'ala katuv alav haragnu alav. It's like a person getting disrespected when he wanted to do mitzvot for other people. It's like killing for Hashem. ועל מלבנת פנים מעלה כאילו הרגנו מנוע לעשות מצווה. מחטיאה אדם בדבר. ישעיהו, it says, people usually speak to another person to make a sin. They make other people to do a sin. How? Verbally. Verbally, there is no respect. A person could have many, many great characters, but he does not speak properly. And I tell these people all the time, you have businesses, you have family, you have to be careful how you speak to your employees. You have to be careful how you speak to your siblings. You have to be careful how you speak to your surroundings. A person has to be careful. Most of the time, people are not be careful. They could say whatever they want to say, but they don't think. Think before you say. You could say many things you could say, but think. Once the word comes out, you cannot take it back. מחטיאה אדם בדבר, ואומר כי עליך נשאתי חרפה. Tehillim following says in 69 ח' כי עליך נשאתי חרפה. David HaMelech says, every day people what are doing? They're disrespecting me. חרפה. They're disrespecting me. They're not respecting me. ועל כן מי שמקיים מצווה כל תרדי סבל, if somebody make a mitzvah because he's suffering, because it's hard for him to do, busha, by embarrassing, bizyono disrespected him, נחשב כאילו מסר נפשו. It's like he's giving nefesh through Hashem every day. So every day, if a person giving his neshama, it's like purifying every day. Become a new child every day. A newborn every day. מעשה נעלה אב מקרבת קורבנות בית המקדש. Somebody getting embarrassed by mitzvah and somebody getting disrespected by mitzvah when he's doing it is like bringing korban to Hashem. You know what it means korban for Hashem? Bichinam, for free. Okay, we accepted kama bushot, kama embarrassing, but we're bringing korban to Hashem. It's like killing ourselves for the mitzvah of Hashem. Ashrei lo v'ashrei chelko. Praiseworthy that man, him, and whatever he has. יותר מכולם, נציין יותר מלך יהודה יקיים מצווה קשה ככתידי סבל, בושה וביזיונות. He says, we know that we had a melech Yehuda, which has come from the descendants of Yehuda. He did the mitzvah from the embarrassing and from all the time people disrespected him. He's a king. You're not allowed to disrespect king. But people did it. Haida Navi, Yutam ben Uziyahu melech Yehuda. Yutam ben Uziyahu, he was the king of the Yehuda. Ve'aseh yashar be'enei Hashem. The Navi says he did properly judgment in front of God's eyes, which means everything he did, he was a tzaddik. Everything that he did properly. Like it says in Malachim, Bet Tedvav. Hine amru Chizkiya, amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, יכול אני לפתור את כל העולם כולו מן הדין מיום שבראתי עד עתה. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, from the time of the creation to the world until now, all the sicknesses, all the people going through difficulties, all the mirivot going through people, I'm going to take it, I'm going to make it zero. People just going to live and live in a happy life. That's what Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says. From the time of the creation of the world until now. Ilmale Elazar bini, he says, if my son is going to be with me, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, miyom shinivra olam ad achshav, from the time of creation to the world until now, he says, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, you give me my son, we both of us, whatever the isurim, sickness, COVID, cancer, chas v'shalom, lung problems, heart, I will take everything this, I'm going to take care of it. People need to not worry. Mi oseh kazeh davar. Who does such a thing? Who says I'm going to take upon myself? Ilmale Yutam ben Uziyahu imanu miyom shinivra olam ad sofo. Like it says Masechet Sukkah, page 45, Amud Bet. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, if there's going to be Yutam ben Uziyahu with me, from the beginning of the world until end, which is our generation, and after the Mashiach of generation, before the Mashiach coming, everything is going to be happening in the world, all the problems is going to happening, I will take it upon myself. He's asking Ribono Shel Olam, God, give me this, please. I don't want nobody to suffer. I don't want nobody to have a heart problems. I don't want a lung problems. I don't want to have a kidney problems. I don't want to have a COVID problems. I don't want to have a cancer problems. Akol yeh beseder. That's what Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says. Yachol ani liftor et ha'olam. I'm able to nullify whatever the ba'aya is, I will take upon myself. Why? Because Yutam ben Uziyahu melech Yehuda, because his father was a tzarat, he had a leprosy. But he did not take the kingship upon himself. He says everything that does the judgment, B'Shem Aviv. Everything in the name of my father. Masbir Rashi, Yotam ben Uziyahu tzaddik haya. Rashi says, Yotam ben Uziyahu tzaddik. Va'anav bayoter. He was one of the humble men. Min shara malachim. He was one of the humble kings. It's very hard to be a humble king. Because king, when you have a power, when you have a money, you have a gaiva. We're not talking about being kings. You take a regular people that they had money. How they acting. The pasuk says he was respecting his father. The pasuk says he really respected his father. What's considered respecting his father? All the time that his father was a leprosy, sickness, everybody coming to him to do the judgment. He did not take the keter malchut. He did not say, I'm a king. My father is still king. I'm helping my father. Danim dan, omrim b'shem aviv. Everything he says, whatever the judgment Allah I'm doing, my father said. Mi amar Abba sheli. Mi amar Abba sheli. Who says my father? Abonid ma'alat Yutam hu beno shel metzora meducha mugash. He says, you look at it, Yutam ben Uziyahu, his father is not a good person because people used to disrespect him. מי שר יתאר הגודל הבושה, חרפה, הביזיונות. The king getting disrespected by people because of his father. להיות בן של אבא כזה שמבוזה בעיני כולם. Everybody not respecting his father. Everybody. בכל זאת לא נרתע מכבד את אביו מסירות נפש עילת אב כל המעלגים, ביזיון בדבר אומר הלכה בשם אביו. He says he still respected his father. His father got disrespected by people. He says he was going through misur nefesh. He was giving everything that he has. He says everything that he did, my father did. ולא פלא איפה נדבר רשב"י. And that's why Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, give me Yotam ben Uziyahu. I'm going to able to nullify the whole world. Not Abraham, not Yitzchak, not Yaakov, not Moshe Rabbeinu, not Shlomo HaMelech, not David HaMelech. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, give me Yotam ben Uziyahu. Not Yosef HaTzadik, nobody. He says, give me Yotam ben Uziyahu. Why? Because he accepted the most bushot, the most disrespected in the world. He says he's able. מה מבקש מהקדוש ברוך הוא? Whatever he's going to ask from הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא will do it for that person. Why? Because he accepted the bushot. Because he did not take the ket of the malchut. אבותינו הקדושים לא חששו מנהלגים. Our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, did not care about if people going to disrespect them. רבנו אברהם ישעיהו השיל מאפתו, מלמד מצוות פסח מצרים היו בעניין אב למסירות נפש על דבר מצווה. Where do we learn to give our soul and our neshama for the mitzvah? He says from Korban Pesach. We know Pesach, Korban Pesach, the Egyptian used to idol worship the sheep. Used to idol worship the sheep. So Hashem says to the Am Israel Parashat Bo, come take a sheep, say me bet avot, put it next to your bed on the 10th of the Nisan. From the 10th and the 14th and the 14th of Nisan, you need to slaughter it. Excuse me, people have kids. They have parnasa, they have families, they have cousins, brothers. They could get killed because that's the Egyptian's God. If the Egyptian God, Hashem says, bring it, he says, that's the first time Jewish nation did a misurut nefesh ala mitzvah, Korban Pesach. ולא יבושו מעליגים עליו, והנה היו ביניכם כמה אנשים מן הערב רב. He says, between the Jewish people, they have common people, Erev Rav. Erev Rav, which just means, oh, what are you doing? You're crazy, you're going to get killed. You're putting your family in jeopardy. Va'adome, שלא היו מאמינים בדבר שיגלו. Erev Rav did not believe that we're going to come out from Egypt. היו מתלוצצים מזה. They're making fun of these people. אמנם הקשרים בישראל בניהם אברהם, יצחק ויעקב תפסו אמונות אבותיהם הקדושים בידיהם, מסירות הנפש להשם יתברך לקיים מצוותו, וקשרו הטלה באחרי המיטה. He says, there was a Jewish people inside the Egypt. He says, we the kids of the Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, we had an emunah from our forefathers. What they did, they took the sheep and they tied it to the bed. וגם היו תועבד מצרים כיום פקדון מלכנו. כולם כאחד מסור נפש באמת ותמים. עם ישראל in that moment gave everything מסירות נפש באמת ותמים. They were אמת, they were going according to the אמת, and they were going simply. לא חששו לדברי המלאגים, מלוצונים כמו שרי עבדי פרעה. Even the Pharaoh, the שרי פרעה, which just means the prime ministers of the Pharaoh made fun of the Jewish people. יראו זאת וישחקו עליהם. They make fun of them. מעשה אבות סימן לפי בנים. What we consider? We consider some מעשה אבות סימן יפה לבנים. If we consider בני אברהם, יצחק, יעקב, we need to act like בני אברהם, יצחק, יעקב. Hello, we came from the what? We came from the gezer, we came from the tree, we came from the roots, a strong roots of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Azut ha-kedusha k'neged ma'aligim amunim. A person, when it comes to kedusha, anything has to do with kedusha, holiness, we need to be obnoxious, which means we need to be strong. כתב רבי נתן בברסלב, זיכרונה לברכה, המלומד היטב ביזיונות מצד מלאגים, על אברהם אבינו עליו השלום שאחד היה אברהם. Rabbi Natan Mibreslev says, Abraham was only one person in the world, and the whole world against him. Like it says in Yechezkel Lamed Gimel Chav Dalet, שאברהם עובד השם רק על ידי שיהיה אחד. Abraham Avinu only one in the world. Nobody was with Abraham Avinu. Nobody. Nimrod, his family, Kulam, everybody against Abraham Avinu. רק יחידי, שחשב בדעתו שהוא רק יחידי בעולם. Abraham really thought he was the only one who was serving Hashem and nobody else. לא יסתכל קל על בני עולם. Abraham Avinu did not look at the people. What the people going to say? What the people going to do? רק יחידי בעולמו. שמסר מאחרי השם מונים אותו. People telling him you cannot work for Hashem the way you're working. You're putting everybody in danger. ועל אביו ושאר המונים. His father, the first one, says you cannot do during the dish. My dear son, you cannot do what you're doing. Please, don't start this over here. רק כאילו הוא אחד בעולם, וזהו. Avraham Avinu is the only person in the world, even his own father went against him. אחד היה אברהם, כל הרוצה להיכנס בעבודת השם, שאי אפשר לו להיכנס על ידי בחינה זו שעכשיו אין בעולם כי אם הוא לבדו יחידי בעולם. If a person wants to work for Hashem and wants to get connected to Hashem, he needs to think he's the only one working for Hashem. Nobody else. הוא היחידי יכול לעשות. He's the only one who is able to do. ולא יסתכל על שום אדם. We should not look into anybody who's telling us we should not do it. כגון אבי ואמו, או חותנו, או ואשתו ובניו כיוצא בזה. Sometimes we have kids. Sometimes a person has a wife. A person has a sister-in-law, brother-in-law. או מונים שיש משרק בני עולם, או his partners. מעליגים מסתאים מונים בעבודת השם יתברך. They say you cannot work like this. It does not continue. צריך שלא ישתכל, שלא יחוש ויסתכל עליהם כלל. רק בחינה יחידי אחד היא אברהם אבינו. Think about Abraham Avinu. He's the only one going against the whole world. Is it possible? Abraham Avinu did. We are the kids of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So if we are the kids of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, that means we have a foundation. What kind of foundation? The strong foundation. If our fault, that means it's in our blood. No matter what's going to happen, it's in our blood. מסכים, רבי נתן מברסלב במקום אחר, עיקר התחזקות לא יתבייש לבטל כל פני מעליגים, רק שיהיה אז כנמר כנגדם. He says a person has to be like a leopard. Leopard is afraid, but he's still going against what? His predator. That's why a person has to be the same thing. יחידי בעולמו, אברהם אבינו עליו השלום. The whole world is going against him. His father, his own father going against him. We say we have to go and we have to work for Hashem. But this person becomes Baal Tshuva in a young age. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a teacher. He read book here, couple pages here. And he starts fighting with everybody. That's not what the Chazal says. Do yourself a teacher. Once you do yourself a teacher, make sure he's going to guide you how to properly do it. And he comes in home, he starts breaking stuff, he starts arguing. Hashem says black and white. Lech lecha me'artzecha, he says to Avraham Avinu. You cannot live in your father's house. You breaking stuff, break it, make sure in your house. You cannot break somebody else's house. You cannot break somebody else's property. You want to do Baal Tshuva? You want to go according to the Hashem? Have a way. There's a way. There's a proper way of doing it. You're living with the parents that not keeping kosher. There's a way of how to keep kosher. But the person right away starts and doing many crazy stuff. He doesn't have a teacher. He doesn't know what he's even doing. He's making worse for everybody. Adrabah, show to people that how beautiful the Torah is. There's a way how to do it. But the person becomes Baal Tshuva, he does not know how to do it. That's why each one of us became Baal Tshuva, we need to have a teachers. If we don't have a teachers, we think if we know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing. Because we need a teacher, like this says the Pirkei Avot Rabban Gamliel, it says in Tet Zayin, Perek Aleph, Taseh lecha Rab. You should do yourself a teacher, a rabbin. To mistalek min hasafek, so you should not have a doubt. Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem should give us baracha, tzlacha, sason v'simcha, briyud, arbe disyat dishmaya, v'chen yeratzon v'nomar, amen.